You want to stand up? Come here. Come here. You want to stand up? Howdy, folks. If I'm online, maybe I'll just sit here and, look. What I can't think of the word. Satisfied with where I am in life, maybe. I don't know. Good evening. Let me get rid of that sound so I'm not echoing. And let's see. If I'm the only one that shows up, I don't have to apologize for my hair or anything because it looks terrible. Hey, Doug, welcome in. I was just saying, if nobody, hey, Jennifer, welcome in. Zippity Doo Doug and Jennifer Caruso have come into the room. I see my lips moving over there, but I don't hear anything. Hey, Ron, welcome in, buddy. Glad to see you folks here. Hey, Carol, welcome. The car key is here, which is good because I keep losing that dang thing. You want to come up and say hi to Carol? Miss Carol's here. You gonna say hi? You don't believe this, Carol, but he was on just a minute ago, standing up here big and proud like he was somebody. And then almost as soon as I hit go, he decided he was going to lay back down. For those of you who are new in the room, that would be Teddy Pockets, my companion cat. And Carol is the president of his fan club. So she knew who I was talking about. Yep, I'm talking about you, big and boy. Carol said, hi. Hello, Super Teddy. You gonna say hi back? Maybe later. We shared snacks earlier, just for the record. Oh, hang on a minute, folks. Give me a moment to go behind the curtain. Well, this will have to do. I only eat the snacks after he licks them if it's something I happen to like. His snacks I don't eat. Just driving home from dinner. Prices are so high anymore. I know we hadn't been out to eat in ages, but you're right. If you drive through a McDonald's anymore, it's hard to eat even for one person under. Well, I would say $10, but it's probably more than that. And if you go somewhere else, it's all gone up. If you go to the grocery store, it feels like it's even worse. How is everybody tonight? Carol, have you guys recouped from the storm? Sorry, guys. I was trying to fix something. Hey, Diana. Well, hello to the car. Did you get Mikey to take you out to eat tonight, or? He's driving and you're not. Oh, you had to run an errand. Okay. Well, that counts too, but it doesn't count as much. I mean, and it depends on if he was doing it for you or if he got you to go with him. Oh, you didn't go get a bloodhound puppy, did you? I hope I can say that out loud. See, who has the Basset Hound puppy? Is that Tony or Doug? Or Basset Hound? Did I say puppy or pony? Puppy's what I meant. No puppy. Oh, I'm sorry. So does that mean that's off the table? Or was it never really on the table? Oh, I got to turn around one more time. Hang on just a minute, guys. Bear with. Talk amongst yourselves. One of the things we're going to do tonight. Well, hey, Michelle, welcome in. Good to see you. Always a pleasure. One of the things I thought we might do tonight in the second half of our show, the first half being sponsored by, I'm trying to remember how they used to do this in Grand Ole Opry. Anybody in here, raise your hand if you've ever been to the Grand Ole Opry or listened to it on the radio. Of course, it's on TV now. They break for commercials during the show, and if you're there watching it live, you get to see them do the commercials on on the stage or whatever. And if you're watching it, well, listen to it on the radio, then you just hear what's going on. You don't realize all the commotion that's happening. I was trying to remember some of their sponsors. They used to have a flower sponsor. I don't remember if it was Brenda. Do you remember? It wasn't gold. Oh gosh, I can't even think. It wasn't King Arthur's flower. I don't think. Goo Goo Clusters were one. They were my favorite. Oh, now it's on TV. Yeah. Back then it wasn't on TV, but I guess now you can see it on TV. So they probably have real commercials now. Gold medal flower. Gold medal. Okay. Was that the one they did at the Opry, babe, or do you remember? Well, yeah, not flower. I mean, not flower. Not like fleur. I like that little bit of French there I threw in there, hillbilly French at least. Fleur. There's a singer I like, singer-songwriter, used to live in Nashville. She goes by the name of Fleury. I don't know if that's her real name or not. Could be a real name, I guess, named after flowers. I think Mike's driving, Doug. I don't think he's gotten home yet to do the dishes. Seems like last time she let him do the dishes, he tore up the dishwasher or something, didn't he? Probably not. I'm kidding about that, but we could blame him for it. Who are you talking about? You need to get engaged doing. Now, Mike. See what did I tell you about setting a precedent? See, you're causing all of us trouble, Mike. I hope you can hear me, and I'm shaking my finger at you because now, see what you've done. You've got people like me and people like Doug or other people that are going to have to do dishes now. How far away from Dollywood are we? By road, 25 miles, maybe. And as the crow flies, probably not that. 15 or 20. I'm just, the exit. No, actually, it's probably, well, that's probably it at the most. Not far. Dolly had her first job on TV or radio right here in town. He can hear you and he says, payback. Payback hell. How make you think payback? Ron does not do dishes. Well, Tim has done dishes many, many times. Tim has a problem standing, if you recall. If you want to get a sink that I can work from a wheelchair or something, then maybe. Danny does dishes. Jennifer, you need to teach that boy. We all know how, Diana. We just don't. Some of us. That's not true. I do. And Brenda would confess, she would admit that I've done a lot of dishes. You have, my dear. See there? And she's not within reach. I can't hit her. She did that on her own. She confessed on her own. Uncoachable. He is uncoachable. Yeah, Doug, I get that part too. There's a lot of things I used to do only when I was told to, but I got told to a lot. She was down here. She was down here the other day telling me all these things that needed to be done around the house, which required things like ladder use and getting up real high and standing for great lengths of time on my feet, which are none of those things I can do. I have medical excuses for all of that. I use the dishwasher. Well, they're running commercials around here now all the time about how dishwashers actually use less water than washing your dishes by hand. But I think that's only if you own, a brand new super efficient dishwasher. I don't think that applies to the one we've got. It's about 30 years old, we think. Yeah, they need loaded and unloaded, Jennifer. And most of the time, you need to rinse some stuff first. I never figured that part out, but I always thought, why would you have to wash them first and then put them in the dishwasher? Carol, there goes Teddy. He just walked across the room behind me. He's going out. No. He's going after a snack. That's one thing he does well, is snack. Well, you will have to teach me those which require us having to communicate. What? Well, you will have to teach me those which requires us to have to communicate. Oh, you're saying I'd have to teach you things. Okay, I got it. What did Carol say? Jennifer, you can sign up. Oh, not Jennifer. Jennifer, not Brenda. You can sign up Ron for Diana's boot camp. She'll have him doing chores. Yeah, Diana's boot camp has become known even in the lower 48. He'll be back in a minute, I'm sure. Maybe when he comes back, he'll be interested in staying. Hey, Mike, welcome in, buddy. Nobody's been talking about you or anything. Hey, Tina McNeil. Welcome in. Welcome in. Let's see. Tony, or not Tony. Doug, were you in the... No, you're not. Is he still here? He is, isn't he? Are you a West Coaster or are you a Florida guy? I just wondered if there's anybody here that had the, storm damage or was in the hurricane path this week. Too late for that. Brenda, he has been spoiled for 4 years by me and his mother before that. Well, you were supposed to break him of that habit, Jennifer, so that's on you. That's a wife's first job. Believe me, I still got the stripes on my back to prove it. Hi, Amy. Welcome in. Hey, I saw Pitt play. I don't know. Are you a Pitt fan? Don't tell me who won. I've still got it recorded. Pitt and West Virginia the day on TV. Doug says, I'm going to Pittsburgh. My brother is in Orlando. Oh, brother in Orlando. Jennifer and Ron live in Southern Florida. So Jennifer and Ron, then did you guys have any? Did the hurricane get to you, or was it too far north? It wasn't that far west of the coast, so you could have got some. Pitt, let's go Pitt. Oh, that's right, Doug. I wish I could. I need to write notes. I need to make notes of where people live so I don't forget. We only had wind bands. Well, that can be bad enough. Hey, Dean, welcome in. Well, good for you. You sent out something a while ago that I thought was really funny. I'll have to remember what it was. Did you send out the thing about the whites of their eyes? Because I read that to Mark, and he hauled on the other end of the phone. Somebody say you were fashionably late. Don't have to go TT. I think I'm caught up now. I think. Everybody's getting caught up saying hi and hello and howdies. I'll wait just another few minutes and we'll get started. Amy, I'm sorry I've not been in any trivia games lately. I need to get back in gear so I can go over there and try to hold up some honor, because last time I was in there I was terrible. I don't think I got it. I'm not sure I got anything right. And you don't know how much that pains me. I'm just good enough to think I should be able to get at least part of them right. Oh no. Well, the show ends early tonight. I run out of coffee. Oh no. I already am out of coffee. I should have started out with extra this morning. Turn the heat down a little bit. Let me make sure I wasn't getting any messages there. Oh, see, Brenda might send me something, tell me to shut up or sit down or something like that. Hey, welcome in, Phantasmic Chronicles. Now Tony's in the room. How's that puppy, Tony? Yeah, I know, Diane. It's going to be bad. You know what? I might have to shift gears. Let me see what I've got down here. I've got some of this, but I don't know what this is. I mean, is this light coffee? I'm not sure. Tim does not like to run out of coffee, in case anybody doesn't know, and I don't do it very often, but I'm about to do it now. Craving pizza tonight. Maybe we can get together. Oh, Mike has pizza, so I guess that's where you guys went out to get pizza. Oh, yeah, that's right. We were supposed to have pizza and beer at Mike and Diana's house tonight. I forgot. Shoot. I forgot about that. I knew it. Come on, Teddy. Where'd you go, bud? Come here. You want to hop up? Come here. Come on. Hop up here and say hi. There he is. Say hi, everybody. We've been trying to get him identified by scientific name. So he's going to be Smilodon fatalis tedor, I think. I'm not sure about that last subspecies part. But see, he thinks he's a saber-toothed cat. So his favorite hockey, what do you call them? What? Oh, yeah, I love you too. What do you call it? Mascot is Nash, the Nashville Predators Smilodon, saber-toothed tiger or saber-toothed cat. Isn't he? Yeah, we're buddies, me and Nash. He's got such a dirty nose. I was looking at a picture. I was trying to go through some pictures earlier, and I found some pictures of him looking up at me or Brenda, probably Brenda. And his little nose used to stay so dirty when I brought him home. Yeah, Teddy's favorite hockey team is the Nashville Predators. Mostly he likes the mascot, Nash. That's spelled N-A-S-A-N-G-A. It's like Gunnash, G-N-A-S-H or something. I don't know how they spell it. They spell it different. That's my boy. Yeah. He's a Mr. Wheeler. Yes, I'm here. Mr. Snuggles is in the house. What's Teddy's favorite Canadian hockey team? Is he supposed to have one? Let's see. Let's think about that a minute. Not sure it's the Winnipeg Bombers, Mike, because they've had some nasty battles with Nashville, so I don't think it's going to be Winnipeg. Sorry. Oh, my nose is itching. Mike sees us all. That's a tough one. What's your favorite Canadian hockey team, bud? I'm kind of partial to the Maple Leafs a little bit. I think I know Mike's favorite team, but I'm not positive. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, Mike, did you get rested up a little bit, buddy? Mike had a long night the other, or day and night, maybe day and night and day. I'm not sure how many hours did you end up being awake, Mike? Your favorite team is Nashville? Woohoo! Well, buddy, I'll have to get a souvenir and send it up your way. I got a hat. I could send you a collector's item hat. Well, sort of. I've got a hat that from their run to the Stanley Cup a few years ago. And I got a couple of shirts and a pair of house shoe slipper things. And yes, you well, good, Mike. I'm glad to hear that. Oh, and he was awake the whole night. Yeah, okay. Well, that's true. Good point, Tina. Well taken. Well said. Well played. Something. Okay, let me pull up my. I'm going to pull up my. I don't really have a slideshow, but I do have my usual things that I say when the show comes on. So let me set that up real quick. My goodness, that still had the. Well, that's not the right one either. What the heck? What the heck? What the heck? There it is. Make sure I got the right one. Yeah. Like I said, there'll be something else going. We'll talk about. I have another maybe interesting thing for some of you. I hope if anybody's interested, I've got a giveaway, but not sure anybody's going to want it. Uh-oh. Dang it. This did this last week too. All right. Give me a minute. I got to try to fix this. For some reason, my computer has changed displays. How do I change that? Well, that didn't work either. Bear with me, guys. I'm sorry. Why have I lost my... No, I don't want that. That didn't work. All right, that's fixed. I fixed this the other day. Sorry, guys. Every once in a while, I have this problem. See, technology is not always my friend. Hang on a minute. I don't understand why it has changed on me though. I never had this problem before. Okay. Now maybe I got it fixed. All right. Much closer than I have been. Now watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Got the right hat that time. So this is just the usual housekeeping kind of thing. This is tonight. Nobody's mentioned my new screensaver for the nighttime show. What's anybody think about this? Is this better? Worse? Does any of it make sense to anybody besides me? Looks like a bear to me. Well, it is a bear. Tony, thanks for stopping. Oh, Tony got to leave? Oh, break's over. He's working. Got to get back to it. Have a great night. Oh, sorry, Tony. Thanks for coming by, Tony. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate it. So tonight, if you didn't see the thumbnail before, I want to talk a little bit about plastics and the politics of plastics. And I'll explain that in a minute. And I just wanted to I don't, like I said, I don't have a big slideshow tonight, just a few things. Like, reminding everybody to hit the like button if you don't mind. And if you don't like the show, then hit the other button. Subscribe to the channel if you find any of this interesting. And according to some people, leave a comment, because apparently those things help YouTube promote the channel. And I'm not looking for a lot of promotion, but it's always nice to feel wanted, I guess. And then we have some rules in this room. I don't think these will be a big deal tonight, but you never know. No matter the topic, we respect each other. No fighting. Anybody that gets in an argument will be removed from the chat. All topics, even religion and politics, the two subjects I have always been advised to avoid, will be open for some discussion, but must be within the above rules. And please come in with an open mind. I ask, if you may. I may ask for volunteers to mediate at times, as if needed, or if they're needed for civil discussion and order. Anyone in the chat or on live will be allowed to speak without being talked over, so we're not stepping on each other if that becomes an issue. So far it hasn't. I've been wanting to do like a panel live, but I haven't got to that yet. Honesty, no invasion of privacy. I don't want anybody outing anybody's addresses or doing anything they shouldn't be doing. That'll get you kicked out too. And no attempt to intimidate will be tolerated. And that's just how it is. And I do have a couple of pictures I do want to show here in a minute, but I didn't put them on slides. I think I'm just going to pop them up and, put them on the screen. And yeah, I've been wanting to, Mike. I want to get that set up. I got, if anybody, is Doug in trouble? No, I don't think so, Doug. Are you? Well, thanks, everybody. You like the Bigfoot, Mike? I was hoping you'd notice that. Oh, shoot. I forgot to watch the Bigfoot show last night, Mike. Did you watch it? I forgot all about it. I think it was last night. When did I tell you that was going to be on? I think I wrote it down. Oh, I heard an interesting quote the other day. I might read that in a minute. Oh, shoot. I forgot to write Mike's always asking about Bigfoot. And I just saw Bigfoot. There was going to be a new show about Bigfoot on this week or next week on Wednesday night on Nat Geo, I believe. Well, I don't remember. Mike, do you remember what I said? No, I did not watch it. Don't get that. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. I shouldn't have told you about it. You wouldn't have known. You wouldn't even known you missed it. Oh, sorry, guys. Hang on. Oh, that hurt. I gotta. Yeah, she don't bully me when anybody can see it, if that's what you're asking. She beats me and bullies me when we're not online. Good rules. Also, nobody badmouth turkey. No, we don't tolerate any abuse to turkey legs, Dean. None whatsoever. And I'm glad you're here to enforce that. You're a wise woman. Yeah, she's a wise woman. She's just enforced. Carol, I've said this before, I'm pretty sure. She watches every crime show and forensic show that's ever been on TV. So I have no doubt that and I'll just admit this, and if I disappear someday, I don't think anybody will ever find me. And you guys will all know why. Oh, that is sad. There's about that much left in the cup. Okay, why am I still got this on my screen? Oh, I know why. So we're going to talk a little bit about plastics. And the reason I'm bringing that up, and if I can, I don't know if I can pull this up or not. Let me see. I get a newspaper. I kind of read and monitor a newspaper. Yeah, here it is. And I don't want to, well, I don't guess it matters. No, it doesn't matter. I will put it up. I think I can do it this way. Let's see if this works. Because this is what got me started to talking about this. Let's see if this works. Now, you guys see that? This is a little newspaper out of the great state of Wyoming, and it's just, I guess it's small. I'm sure it has a faithful following, just as much as I'm sure it has a faithful opposition. But I couldn't figure this out. And I think maybe I now know the answer, at least part of the answer. But the town of Cheyenne was trying to pass an ordinance that would ban the use of one-use plastic bags like grocery bags. And they're still advertising the Bigfoot show. Well, maybe we hadn't missed it, Mike. I'll have to see if I can't. Maybe I can pull that up and we can watch it somehow. Don't know how, but maybe we can. And it really kind of bumfuzzled me because they had the vote was 5-4 by the city council, but what was kind of more important was it was I think there were 24 people there, 23 people there, and 19 opposed it. So right before the show, I was speaking to my liaison my Wyoming expert, cultural expert, otherwise known as Mark or Uncas. And I asked him why if he had heard about it and why he thought that would be so opposed. And he said, well, where was it? And I tried to remember, so I had to pull it back up and look at it. And he said, well, that's because most of those big towns in Wyoming are fossil fuel related, particularly oil. And that's what they use to make. They make these bags out there. They use it for practice. Oh, I have too, Tina, and I'm not going to argue that point because we use ours the same way. I mean, there can be multiple use, but in the end, most of them end up in the garbage, and most of them end up in landfills. I read something else today that said 7 out of 10. 70, at least 70% of these are never recycled. They just go in the trash and go into the landfills and go other places. And believe me, I've picked up my share of them. And some of the pictures I'll show you today kind of have that bear that, but witness to that. But the point is they were trying to go back to paper or go back to bringing your own bags to trash or bringing your own bags to the store. Now people are buying garbage bags because they're not getting them for free. You're paying for them? See, we don't do that down here. So that's interesting. I'd like to hear about that. We get plastic or paper here. I mean, you can ask for paper. They won't give you paper unless you ask. And sometimes they don't have paper. We have reusable bags. Brenda's made a set and she's bought a set, and we try to reuse them all the time, but sometimes we forget. And we had to bring our own. Let's see. She said, Michelle said we had to bring our own bag and ordinance in San Jose. The stores could not provide plastic. You had to buy paper for 10 cents. Well, now they talked about something similar to that in this ordinance. They were trying to do a 10-cent fee on, I believe, paper bags, which meant if you brought your own, you wouldn't have to pay anything. and I bet it is, Michelle. I'm not, of course, I'd have to look that up, but um, they were going to use a 10-cent fee was going to be for education purposes and to try to explain, why they're doing it and how important it is. And as Mark said to me a while ago when we were talking about this, he said, it's not like I ever saw one at 10,000 feet while I was flying a helicopter across the prairie trying to count antelope. And he literally has seen them flying in the air up high and, where they could be sucked into airplane motors and all kinds of things. But I think the biggest, most common thing that happens is, when they get in the ocean and sea turtles and other species that feed on things like jellyfish. And you let go of my arm. Let go of my arm. What? You have something to say? You do, stand up. Yeah, we've been working on getting rid of some of our stuff, more and more plastic, because they put the recycle number on plastic a lot, but what I've seen here, at least, is fewer and fewer things come in recyclable plastic. Now they just say, "Oh, we can't do that when you got to throw it away," and so I'm not sure how much good that's doing in some places. Yeah, we don't have to buy ours, although right now, since we still have plastic, people probably wouldn't buy them. They'd rather have the plastic than to spend 10 cents to have paper bags. But I mean, to me, it would push more people into, taking their own bags with them. It is part of the problem, Jennifer. There's no doubt about that. And believe me, I've been there too. Plastic drink bottles, to me, are one of the worst things out there. And that's because I picked up many thousands of them along the lake shores. I mean, people just throw them out. They're out there in the boat or, bragging about what a great thing it is to come to the lake in Tennessee and spend the summer. And it's so beautiful, but, the whole time they're here, they're throwing stuff off the side of their boat or on the shoreline. Brenda says, we've been trying something new to pick up my groceries instead of shopping. I put the groceries that they give me into my bags and take their bags and put them in the recycle container. And I hope that they do recycle those bags. They should be, since that's what they're saying. Tina, did I get this? Well, to be honest, I'd like to see how that status arrived at. We have BYOB or buy it, but they're reused. But also, I use the plastic grocery bag. Now we buy them. Well, our grocery bags would never fit our trash cans. They were always too small. I use them. I've got some right here in my trash can. But I believe that. I believe it's correct because I've picked up my fair share of trash bags, or not trash bags, grocery bags along the shoreline of my lake. And it was one of the cleaner lakes around. And I believe it. Plastics has become such a huge deal in other things. I mean, not just what we're using there. Plus, every time they make a plastic bag, you use up a little bit more petroleum that we could be burning in our cars. Whether that's a good thing or not, we'll see in time. But BYOB, bring your own bags. Oh, well, I don't. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that. I knew what BYOB means. Why I thought about that. However, reusable plastic bags for leftovers, etc. too, Brenda, they are very thick and can go into the dishwasher. Yeah, Brenda's got some of that kind of stuff now too. She's using. I like the brown paper bags myself because I can use them to make as Jennifer you say, patterns for things that I want to cut out and make downstairs here, like leather goods and other things I need patterns for, moccasins. As of July 1st, they have banned all single-use plastic, no more bags, straws, etc. And that's illegal. And now, is that in all of Canada, Diana, or is that just in your part of the Canadian provinces? How does that work? And Tina said, and then we have bread and everything is wrapped in plastic. And then they say, don't get it. Well, again, I don't disagree with that, Tina. It's a different kind of plastic, but you're right. I mean, I do get that. And I don't know what they'd do about that either. Start putting plastic, although we do have some bread now. If they bake it in store or something, you can get it that way. And it is in a paper bag. But, I'm not disagreeing with that. Everything, it's never as cut and dried or quite as simple as they say, but grocery bags are the thing that make such an obvious, are so obvious on the horizon, let's say. And I think if we eventually work through that, maybe we can get rid of some of the other stuff. But some of the things they'll never be able to get rid of because we don't do business like they used to. When mom and when grandma and granddad went down and bought meat at the grocery store, it was wrapped in paper. That's probably not ever going to come back again. So I don't know what that answer will be. But different kinds of plastics are more recyclable than others. So I think that's part of it too. And let's see here. At the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas, all water is in paper containers, no bottles. They have a paper bottle filler, and give you a refillable bottle at check-in. That's interesting. I'm glad they do that. We use, I don't have one handy here. We drink, I mean, honestly, I drink water out of our faucet too, but if we want bottled or spring water or whatever you want to call it, or something that's got maybe a different pH, we drink Liquid Death, and it's in aluminum cans, and their whole thing is about making sure their containers are 100% recyclable. So, all that gets smashed up and gets put in our recycle bins, and all the aluminum does get recycled, or probably last time I heard it was in like a high 90%. So at least most of it's getting done. So there's a good question. Do you know if that means starting all of Canada as of December 2023? It will be illegal to sell single-use plastics. Well, see, now there's a key word, single-use plastics, which also means that, as long as they can, if it's recyclable plastic, that's at least reusable, and that's not a single use. So any plastic that can be recycled may be acceptable in these cases, but that's the problem. We're finding less and less plastics that are recyclable. Florida water is toxic. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if yours is. I know it tastes funny. I never did like Florida water when I lived down there. Unless it was really super cold. Brenda says they sell the reusable bags right there in front of your. I'm at Kroger. Even something that you can take frozen food home in. Yeah, they do. That's true. Tina says, I use Earthbridge laundry detergent. Secret is to make products make sense when you use. Well, yeah, that's always been the case. That's not always how they're made. Like I said, we're getting less and less plastics here at the grocery store, I find, than we do recyclable plastic. Plus, places around here have stopped doing it. We can't even get glass recycled around here now because nobody's doing it. So the recycle people won't pick it up. I mean, they don't have anything to do with it. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Tina. That's what I always kind of thought. I mean, there's plenty of water that's toxic around the country. I know that tastes bad. That's for sure. Sorry, folks. It's time for taxi duty. Be safe out there. Have a great night. You too. Have a great night. Be careful on the roads. I was happy when our school started using compostable trays for breakfast and lunches. However, only 4 of us actually have compost bins in our room, so most of them end up in the trash. Now, see, that's the kind of thing that makes me ill when they do something like that. That's a good deal, but then they don't do anything to make it possible. I mean, you've got 4 composting cans in the whole school, and so like you said, everybody else is throwing them away. Why do they do that? I'm trying to read down through here. Problem is, just because it's recyclable doesn't mean, well, that is true. That's what I was saying. That's what we're finding here, because less and less stuff is recycled. And, there's a whole myriad of reasons why it's not profitable, or they don't have anybody to sort it, or, there's all kinds of things. Brenda says, I use Earth Breeze, so I jumped in on a special and bought a whole year's worth. Yes, she did. And that's kind of neat, because you just throw it in it's like a little sheet, and you just throw it in the wash machine. It's gone. There's no plastic left over. They're in a little paper bag, so that's compostable or recyclable or whichever. We've been recycling for years, and one cool thing about that, or we found, is we now have our trash. We have 2 bins. We don't have to sort it. I know in some places people have to sort it at their homes, and here we don't sort it, which is probably another reason why we can't get some things recycled. But anyway, and we find that our recycle bin gets filled much more often than our trash bin does, because we tend to have way more stuff. In our, we recycle so much of the stuff we have. But things like styrofoam, not everybody does styrofoam. Styrofoam is recyclable, but not everybody can do it. And it's great stuff, and it makes sense to me. Take the water out. Yeah, it does. That's exactly right. Brenda says, I'm not disappointed. Earth Springs, either my clothes were always clean. Did somebody say it wasn't good? If they did, I missed it. I'd like to hear that. Maybe not. Carol says, the school doesn't provide the compost bins. One of my coworkers provided them, and even takes them home to dump in her compost pile. Gee, see, that'd be a good project for somebody to do at school for Earth Day. It's either set up a large composting bin out back, or figure out a way to collect them so they can be composted. And we compost here. Brenda composts, and we've got a couple of bins out back that we can flip around, turn around, and she makes some beautiful dirt that way. I know it's not as easy to do for everything, but it would be nice if it was. And you have to get the school on board with it, Carol. Yeah. Okay, Dean. Probably see some of us will probably see you later. I hate the texture styrofoam. Yeah, I do too. I'm going to show you some styrofoam issues here in a minute. Brenda says, I'm going to have to take the glass stuff over to the recycle center. So they will still take it there then. It's just our pickup haulers don't do it. That's right. I forgot that. But still, even then, some of them don't take it now. I had somebody tell me they were going to quit doing glass, or they thought they were here at one time. We have a decent city recycling program, but so many people refuse to read the labels on the bins that tell you what is accepted. Then they throw in things like plastic bags that gum up the machines. Yeah, that's another problem when they do that. And they send out every once in a while to let people know that they got to be more careful about what they put in there. And let me show you some pictures. Okay, Dean. Let me show you some pictures that are my personal pictures. I only took out a couple. Where did I put them? Where did they go? I don't know. I don't know if this will work the way I want it to or not, but we'll see. Okay. Let's see if this is going to work. Oh, that's not trash. That's a baby Teddy Pockets. Well, looky there. And that's how he got his name. Because he was in the pocket of my shirt because he was so cold. I thought the little boy was going to freeze to death. And look at that dirty nose. But that's not why we're here talking about Teddy Pockets. I just snuck that in there. Let's see here. Let me catch up real quick while he's on the screen. For sure, I love the students and therefore learn about it. Tina says they need to have people do the sorting as a paid job. Well, that's what they're supposed to be doing here, Tina, but I don't know if they still are or not. People don't want to take time to sort through them. And like I said, ours is no longer. We used to have to sort it, but that was a whole different place and people. And Doug says, I don't know, Jennifer, because I don't touch it. I'm not sure what that was touching. And here we got something about a blue-eyed kitty. Oh, yeah, that's Teddy. That's my little Teddy Pockets. When I found him, he was in the back of a pickup truck. It was really cold outside. He took a long trip in the truck. And he was so little that I could put him in my pocket and keep him warm. And my next door neighbor, coworker person gave me a little blanket she had to put on him. He warmed up quick enough, but he was, that's how he was then. How he is now is he weighs 20 something pounds and won't fit in your pocket. Diana says, when our recycling program started, they took everything and you didn't have to rinse out food containers. Now they only take certain things, not convenient. Yeah, that they make it that is another problem. They make it inconvenient. So you got to figure out a way to make it so people will actually do it, and maybe passing a law like you guys have. Maybe that's what does it. I don't know. We'll see. I guess. Let me know how that works out up there for you. Welcome to the Tim TP Ron. What you don't like Tim's TP? Yeah, he was a cutie pie, wasn't he? He's my best friend. Okay, let me move on to the pictures. Tell me if you guys can see this or not. Now, do you see the new picture? Because I don't know if it shows up on your screen. It should, though. Okay, well, this is an example of some of the stuff I used to do. And this is a lake, one of 2 or 3 that I personally worked on to help pick up trash twice a year, in fact. And you can see just looking. Now we've got, again, these are plastic bags that I wish we didn't have to use, but these big containers were pretty much all we had, and they were supposed to be biodegradable, but I don't know. But this you see here is a fairly large block of styrofoam that we were trying to help somebody come along and start recycling because we had so much of it and so much big chunks of it. And unfortunately, a year or 2 before this picture was taken, someone had released a large amount of styrofoam out into the lake and just let it float away from their boat docks. And that left us to pick it up for it's over with. But this is the kind of thing you see with trash, with little bags. And I've seen it like this. I've seen a flooded wetland area, just when the water comes down, it's just covered with these blasted bags. Now it's also full of drink bottles and bleach bottles and hey, what? No, come here. It's not time to go to bed, and you've had food, so come here. Come up here and sit down. Now you be quiet. I'm not through with the show yet. What's got into you? What's the matter? Don't look at me like that. So anyway, this is the kind of thing that if you care about these sort of things will really make you mad. especially when you're having to do the work to pick them up. Like, yeah, I know, but it's not quite time. And these are washed up soda bottles and bleach bottles, and probably thrown out oil containers for everything from boat motor oil to car oil, or you just never know. And this is another one that this is an area where the water's been up and then come back down, and I can tell that by the vegetation that's on it. So this was an area that was flooded for a while, and then it comes back down. And the reason bags become so obvious is, one, the color, and two, they tend to fill up and float better than a lot of other things do. And this is a picture I started to use from but it's a world in plastic. But anyway, let me take this down, and I can show you some more if you want to see any, but because I've got tons of them. And that was one of my jobs, was to help pick up and I had volunteer crews that came out, and I did this on my weekends. The agency supplied the boats and the gas for the boats, and they supplied the trash bags. And oh, Carol, don't tell him things like that. Carol seems to think that you're wrong place. She seems to think that if you're on the show anymore, I'm going to have to pay you extra. Oh, give you co-star status. Well, he thinks he already runs the show. Yeah, that's why he thinks it should be the Teddy Show, and I'm his co-worker, helper. I buy volumes of heavy-duty paper plates at Sam's. Washing time solved. No comment, Ron. Co-star status. I'm sure he'll insist on star status. Yeah, he's not going to settle for co-star. Pigs are very clean. Where'd that come from? Oh, people are such pigs. Yeah. Well, people are pigs in different ways. Pigs are clean. Pigs are smarter than humans, I tell you. They are actually, despite the images you see of pigs in slop or pigs in mud, they're actually pretty clean animals when you give them a chance. I don't think people will ever figure it out. It's like chickens. Chickens aren't so nasty until you put them, thousands of them in one building, and that's a whole nother topic. Oh, good night, Jennifer. Thanks for coming in. Really appreciate you guys stopping by tonight. We'll be here just a little bit longer. So anyway, that's just what food for thought, guys. I know there's a lot of opinions on it, and I know honestly everybody in here made a good point. Everything that was said is true. There's Tina made some really good points. She's right about a lot of that stuff. We reuse our bags too. I just took one out of my trash can here right before the show, and I'm getting ready to put in another one that came from Kurt. My nose I got somebody's hair on my nose, and it's tickling my nose. Sorry, guys. And all you do as much as you can do, and if more people would just at least do that would help a ton. And let's be honest, a lot of stuff comes out of third world countries that aren't set up for recycling or taking care of a lot of this stuff. And that's not to be picking on anybody's world status, but that's just what happens. I mean, look at a rescue operation that goes into just about any third world nation that's under, volcanic eruption, and people are going in there to save lives, or they're going in there because of earthquakes, or they're going in there because of floods. And almost everything we send them is wrapped in plastic in some form or another. So, and plastic bottles of water. Until we start moving that stuff in different ways, it's going to continue to be a problem. So anyway, let me go where I was going to go. Why I said we were going to do something a little different at the end. I know some of you may know, some of you may not, but our daughter has a business now of her own business. She was in the the antique appraisal business with for someone else, and now she has branched out and she's got her own business. Now it's not really a commercial for her. Well, maybe it is, but because I support her, and I also always recommend anybody go to Primrose Auctions. I'll post that just because I can. It's my show. You know, you never know what you're going to find on there, and they have some beautiful stuff. And people, I mean, you just never know who might be looking for something, and it might just be right there. Somebody try that and see if that works. That's Jennifer. Right now, it's Jennifer Carroll, and she hopes to be able to put Kelly on also full time after they get going a while. I expect that's going to be a bit. She's staying busy so far. She's had at least one auction a week going now since she started, pretty much, and she's got a couple of people already on board that are going to be regular, that she knows is going to be regular customers. And I invite all of you just to take a look, and you know, if you sign up on her email, that you know you'll get one every time there's a show, and they'll ship stuff. And if they don't, and you buy something that's shippable, I'll ship it to you. I know people can't necessarily buy furniture that way, but they have some really cool stuff, glass and antiques and anything from they've had some. She's had some really cool, like old metal cars and trucks and that sort of thing. You just never know what you're going to find in an estate sale down here that, you know, from a house that's been packed for the last 150 years. Mike, she doesn't do cars at this time. Doesn't mean she won't ever, but not yet. But I will keep an eye on it for you if you're looking for a car to tow a fifth wheel horse trailer / combination living quarters, fifth wheel. Had a peek the other day. She has some cool stuff. Yes, she does. And so that's how I got here. I bought some books, and she had an auction. In fact, it might have been one of her first ones on her own that had some fantastic books in it. Mark and I both were just salivating. And so I was bidding on said books, and they weren't getting a lot of action early on. And then, of course, as soon as I closed my eyes for a few minutes or screwed up, all the books I wanted got gone, and I ended up with an auction of books that I wasn't that crazy about. I mean, not that crazy, but it wasn't the one I wanted. There's a couple of books here I thought were good, but it wasn't what I was actually looking for. But I thought that I would show some of these. Most of them people won't be interested in, but you never know. Somebody might have something in here that's close to home. And this one, for example, is Main Street, a portrait of small town Michigan. Now, I know there's somebody or two that live in Michigan, and that's the thing. There's several of these books that are about Michigan. This was, I don't know when this was published. Most of these are older books, which is why I was looking at them, because I like old books and I collect some old books. And this book was dedicated to somebody's parents, Herman and Maria Chrysostom. They must have been Greek. Chrysostomo. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, and I apologize. But anyway, there's this one. I don't think anybody probably want this one, but it's, if somebody lived in Ontario, I'd be glad to pass it along. I'm not talking about selling them, by the way. These would be free. I'm just, you know, I'll pay for the shipping, and if anybody wants to reimburse me for any of that, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. But this one's Northeastern Ontario forest plants, and I'm reading that backwards, just so everybody knows what a skilled talent I really am. Man, I am full of myself tonight, aren't I? This is an interesting one. I think I might keep this one, but I'd be willing to pass it along after I get a chance to study it. But it's called The Glorious Adventure. This might have been one of the ones I was looking at in this group, this lot. But it's written by Richard Halliburton, which may not mean anything to everybody, but Halliburton is a name I'm familiar with because I think and I think they're related, but there were Halliburton cases made for camera equipment years ago, and I just have to believe that this is related. What's neat about this book is these folks reenacted the trip of Ulysses from Greek history, where they sailed off to save Helen of Troy and did all that fighting and carrying on across the Mediterranean, and landed on the island of lost sirens and lonely women, and then the Cyclops that beat people up and ate them and all that. So this was this is kind of interesting. This is one of the ones I think pretty cool. And here's this was more of a touristy guide, but this is about the Suez Canal, which is up near where Shelley lives. And I can't remember what she changed her name to. It used to be Starwalker, but now it's something else. But this is kind of neat because it's all about that part of the state up there around the Great Lakes, if you're interested in Great Lakes stuff. And here's a book that's all about the 24th Regiment from Michigan during the Civil War, which this one's probably going to be interesting too. I haven't checked all these out yet, so there may be one or two that I want to look through or try to read. But this is full of letters to home and journals and dispatches, all that are related to this group of Michigan soldiers. And I'm not sure what all towns they came from. They're called the Iron Brigade, and you may have seen that on the cover. They were in most of the major battles of the Civil War. So, if anybody out there, a husband or whatever, is related to or is interested in history, this sort of thing, let me know. Can be yours. Here's one that's all about the iron ore industry of the Great Lakes region, which a lot of people don't even know about. But some of these have some really good old pictures in them that show. So if you had anybody that worked in Michigan or worked in the steel mills or worked in the steel mines up there, again, if you're interested, just let me know. And then I'm going to show these. I'm trying to go through them fast. This one's got a bunch of stuff in the Louvre. I don't think this one had anything to do with Michigan or any of the other states, but it has a lot of the art that's in the Louvre in Paris. So if anybody's an art fan and just wants to read about it. Oh, and this one has secret papers in it. Well, secret in that I didn't know they were in there. Let's see what we got. I love surprises like that. Oh, here's something about high school. I guess standings in high school athletics. Don't have a date though. Dang it. There's somebody's phone number. I guess I shouldn't show that because it might be real. I mean, probably not today. I have to believe this has something to do with homework somewhere along the way. Or maybe sailing vessels and cargo loads. Maybe this is somebody's class. Wow, what pretty writing. Dear sirs, check this out. I wish I could write like this. I tell you, handwriting is such a lost art. And I really wish I could write better. I have recently been investigating possible colleges for furthering my education after high school. Since I plan to be a commercial pilot, I am very interested in Purdue University's School of Technology. Being a resident of Michigan, I have been unable to obtain any information about campus life, financial aid, and the requirements. I will need I will need for acceptance at Purdue. I'm also very interested in the possibilities of becoming a member of the marching band. Any information which you can send will be greatly appreciated and very helpful in my search for a university which will suit my needs. Thank you very much. Sincerely, unsigned. That's kind of cool. I hope they made it. I hope they got to school, and I hope they got through, and I hope they got to be a commercial pilot. I wonder what they played in the band. Oh, here's their schedule of classes. Okay, I'm going to bet this was a guy, a boy, young man. I say that because they drew things like I might have drawn when I was in school. These are, look like coats of arms. And a bear. Can't remember whose flag had a bear on it, but boy, that is some light work there. Okay, I know I'm boring everybody to death. The Experiment in International Living. I didn't know this was even in here. Oh, let's see here. What else we got? Farmington, Michigan, founded in 1824. Oh, wow. Cemeteries, buildings, all architectural history of that town. There's one wonderful world of music. That's not very good shape. I'm not even going to show it. Oh, well, see, this might be why I got it. Here's one about American Indian heritage. I'll have to look through that one. See if it's accurate or if it's got some good pictures in it. If anybody's ever been at the Wilderness Lodge at Disney World, you may have seen this headdress or one very similar to it. It used to be in the lobby. I don't know if it's still there or not. That was an authentic copy of a real thing. Okay, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Probably, Carol, you can correct me or you can laugh at me, but it's Keweenaw. And I guess that's a city or a county. And it's all about the copper industry up there, which is something else I've learned a little bit about just since I got these books that I did not know. Oh, there's another one I didn't know. Highways to History, Michigan and the Old Northwest. Oh, cool. This has got a lot to do with the early explorers and the people that came there out of Canada and founding Detroit. Detroit was an important place because it was right on that juncture of lakes, where they had a lot of trade. Okay, just a couple more, guys, then I know I'm boring most of you to death. Carol, have you ever been to a place called the Estevan Pines? Really cool stuff in this book about giant pines that they saved up there that I've read about, but I've never really seen them. Here's one about the Mackinac Hotel. I like this one. This is just early pictures of General America, and I don't know what year this was printed, but there's some, early pictures of, when they were out exploring the national parks and the monument parks and all that kind of stuff. This is a good one. This book's kind of coming apart, but they're taking some people in a wagon or a carriage of some sort with a 14 hitch of mules down into the that was up Pikes Peak, so they're probably on their way back down. I think that's a cool book. Oh, there's one about Pontiac and the Indian Uprising. Let's see, documented story of one of the greatest Indian chieftains. Pontiac was pretty smart, so I'll have to check that one out. And this one's all about the history of the iron ore companies and things out of Michigan. Here's another Northland wildflowers. This is more of the Minnesota region, but probably would apply a lot to most of Michigan. And it's got a lot of wildflowers and things in it. And 1, 2 more, 3 more. The Common Trees of Michigan. Now, this is an old book, but that'd probably still get you by 99% of the trees in Michigan because there's not many new trees except exotic trees, of course. The Charles Lathrop Pack Forestry Trust. I don't know where that's at. Latrobe, is that how that's pronounced? You know, Carol? It's right there above my finger somewhere. Lathrop. This is another book of the early history of the Great Lake area. I thought this was a cool book. And it's got some pictures in it. I like books. When I get an old book, I like them when they've got names and history in them, when they were given, like so-and-so's birthday. You know, when he was, John Lewis Stevenson, when he was 10 on Christmas or his birthday, or history. Gives book character. And I don't know, this is the story of a village up there. I'd have to look and see which one it is. About Henry or Mall servants. I don't see what city and town it is, or village. Father and Mother. It's printed in 1931. It's not terribly old. And it's Walled Lake, if there is such a place. I think there is. I believe I've seen Walled Lake on a map. Walled. And finally, I've got 2 of these for some reason, Out of Small Beginnings. And this is the early history of Michigan, I think. And this had a lot of Michigan stuff. And like I said, I don't know why. I'm not 100% sure why I bid on this box of books. And I think I bid like $2 on it. I mean, I didn't bid much. And nobody else wanted them, I guess, so she brought them to me. And said it wasn't the books I wanted. But she had a bunch of Hemingway. She had several Hemingway books. These are early, maybe first editions. Theodore Roosevelt books. Yes, Tina, that's how it's spelled, one word. What was I saying? Oh, Teddy Roosevelt, Hemingway. Oh, and there's somebody else that Mark and I both are interested in, that we like to read. Oh, well, Ernest Thompson Seton, for one. I collect those. Mark collects those. Used to swim against the Walled Lake team. Oh, really, really, Carol? That's interesting. I just read something about Walled Lake, and it might have been in one of these books about somebody living there or had something to do with Walled Lake. And I had never heard of that before until I got to digging into this stuff. Yeah, they're interesting, Diane. I mean, like I said, it wasn't anything I necessarily wanted, and if I don't have a use for them or don't want to put them on my bookshelf, and a couple of them I'm sure I will, but I'll take the rest of them down and give them to the we have a used bookstore here in town, and if they don't want them, they have a free bin they put books in, and people just pick through and get the ones they want. At least that way it has a fair shot of finding a forever home, if you will. Because I think, well, we're just talking about old books, and Analia, welcome in. So that's why I say, if anybody wants an old interesting book, and it's free, I'll be glad to send them up that way. Did I show you this one? I don't know if I did. This is one of the neater ones. This is all about Lake Superior's shipwreck coast. And there's an article in here about the Edmund Fitzgerald, if anybody remembers that, the Gordon Lightfoot song, or he made it famous by writing a ballad about it. And there's all the history in here and what they found. And they did discover, they did find the ship on the lake, bottom of Lake Superior. There were 29 men on that ship, and they all went down. Nobody lived. Nobody escaped. What did Brenda say? Oh my gosh, Brenda. After Tim dies, there will be another auction. I hope it pays well. So if you want them for free, now you got to get them from me. If you wait till I die, Brenda's going to try to sell it to you. But anyway, this has got a whole history of book, and there are a lot of shipwrecks on the Great Lakes. I didn't know that. I went up there and actually visited a museum along the coast when we were stranded up there years ago. And we got to read about some of this stuff, but I never had a book about it. So I'm probably going to flip through this, but they're mostly iron ore ships. And this book goes into some detail about how they developed and designed boats to be safer to haul that kind of equipment on. They created something called a whaleback. I think it was invented on the Great Lakes, and it was an ore ship. And you won't be able to see it very well, but here's one example, and you can see it. They curve in on the top, and then they're closed off to try to prevent them from taking water, because the storms come up on the Great Lakes, and they're horrible, and they're very powerful, and a lot of ships get in trouble on the Great Lakes because of that. So I will never mind. He's going to move them on. I'm just saying, remember the name of a book and you might see it again. You're so funny. Just try to get the good ones are all over there. Just remember that. The really good ones. Anyway, that's probably enough boredom for one night. I appreciate everybody coming in. I just wanted to bring up the issue with plastic bags and some of the concerns about it. And I didn't take the time today to research it well enough to discuss it at length. But speaking as someone who's had to pick up people's trash bags and garbage bags and store bags, and unfortunately, if you go to the lake around here, most of the time, if you go buy groceries from anywhere, then you're going to, before you go, what's your favorite music album? My favorite music album? That is hard to say. I've got so many favorite albums. Some of my favorites right now are The Warning out of Mexico. But I really like Gordon Lightfoot. I really like Tom Petty. I have lots of stuff saved on my computer. I don't know what I would call my favorite. I understand the plastic bag thing for the environment, but you have to buy some anyways to pick up your dog poop. Well, I don't have a dog, so I don't have to do that, Mike. And if you buy them for your dogs, don't you have to buy like the big hefty bags? Because you've got basset hounds. And basset hounds, if nobody's ever had a basset hound, let me tell you how a basset hound, about bowel movements of basset hounds. They're huge. They may be small in stature, but they are big in waste production. You have great taste. Have a good night. You too. Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks again. I'll be on Saturday. Not sure yet what we're going to talk about Saturday. I have a couple of ideas. And Mark told me just a while ago that he had a really good idea. Something we should talk about. Oh, your daddy does too. Well, I'm sure he does. He's a little bit bigger dog, though. You kind of expect that, If you got a Saint Bernard, you pretty much expect that. But a basset hound at first looks small and diminutive, and they're short legged, but that's deceiving, because I've stepped in some piles of that. I've had to mow around them in my lifetime, and it is from a, like I say, from a waste production standpoint, they can crap with the best of them. Tell me about it. I had to go pick up everything in the backyard this evening. Oh, that'd be a job. Bassets are big. Well, that's true, Tina. They are. But when you first look at them, they look small because they're close to the ground. Because they are short, but they are big. They are big and they do big things. Okay, anybody get my name tonight? Nobody mentioned it, so it's fun as it used to be trying to get people to figure out what it is. But it was supposed to be on plasticine by saying plasticine, like plastic. Get it? We're in the plastic. When they dig us up, they're going to find us surrounded by plastic bags in the ground, I think, and jugs and Clorox bottles, and around here, empty Mountain Dew bottles. Oh, fun fact here, guys. When I used to have crews on the lake and my volunteers would be on the lake picking up trash, we always had to warn them about picking up bottles if they had anything in them to please not dump them out, or you never know what's in them. And I won't even go into details of what that could be. But the fearful thing was meth, the byproducts of making meth. And they have a method of making meth around here called the shake and bake method, which is all done in one bottle. And that they don't have to cook it indoors anymore. They do it out in the woods. Leave the bottles out there. It's very dangerous, very poisonous. And they like to use Mountain Dew bottles because apparently those green bottles are thicker slightly and are more burst resistant than the other one, so they really like to use Mountain Dew bottles, which is good because if you've ever watched any show about the rural Appalachians, you know that their Mountain Dew is one of the favorites and or detriments of people's teeth in this part of the world, they say, and diabetes and there's all kinds of other things. But I'm sure, I mean, it's not too unusual to see some kid sucking on a bottle and a baby bottle full of Mountain Dew. So anyway, I think I've lost everybody. Diana, you were the last one. Bassets are large breed dogs with short legs. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Okay, guys, I appreciate it. I'm going to get off here. I'm going to see if my wife will feed me anything tonight. I may be SOL, if you know what that means. Carol's still here. Good. Welcome in, Carol. And it's just, you're back. You're here just in time to say goodbye. And I know you were here. I just didn't see your name pop up for a minute. It got real still there, and I thought, geez, everybody left. I ran everybody off. Yeah, Carol, I know you probably don't, but if you want any kind of book to put in your classroom or anything, just let me know. It's all yours. I was going to try to show a couple of those to Shelly, just because of where she lives. There's 2 or 3 there about Mackinac, Sault Ste. Marie, and that area near where she lives. So, yes, I'm saying goodbye right now. You want to come up here and say bye, Fussy Britches? Come here. What's your problem tonight? Come up here and say bye. He's not. He must be wanting me to go upstairs or something. So anyway, you want to say good night? Say good night. Say good night, everybody. Bye-bye, folks. See you Saturday, I hope.